Welcome back. Where the names are the same and we're still around.
Ooh, rounder.
Well, quarantine 50.
Only 50?
I'm Jim.
I'm Eric.
And today we're going to talk about Old. This movie written, directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Sixth Sense. Split.
The one that shall not be named.
Signs. We'll just do the good ones. Gael Garcia Bernal. Is it Vicky Crepes?
She gives me the crepes.
No crepes.
No crepes for you.
Alex Wolff from Hereditary.
Rufus Sewell.
And Thomasin McKenzie. This movie's about a family that goes to some resort in some foreign country and ends up on a beach. They're brought to a beach.
Yeah, at the direction of, like, the hotel manager.
Yeah.
He's like, I only tell my favorite people about this spot.
We'll start you off with some spoiler-free. Okay? So the things that I liked about this movie, it was under 2 hours. All right?
It was that.
Look, after such a shitty year and just not being in a positive place, I'm going to look for the positive in here. The cinematography, I thought, was really good. The premise, I thought, was pretty decent. Kind of
That
like
was definitely a great idea for this movie.
Kind of like a little bit of a B story, but that would have been fine. But then we get into the bad. But you can talk about your good.
Talk about my good.
Yeah, if you had any. We're drinking Blue Moon, by the way. No product placement, but it is Belgian white. While you're looking that up, I'm going to talk a little bit about the bad. The names of some of these people.
Ken Lung. Duh.
Get off the island, bro. I believe Claudio said.
Never let him go to another island. I thought Ken Lung was pretty good. I thought location was nice.
Yeah.
It was a pretty sweet location. A little small, contained. That was one of the great things about this movie, is that it was really contained. That was one of the good things he did with Signs, too, is he kept it to small locations.
Yeah.
Mainly their house.
Well, I think it creates like a claustrophobia for
yeah. It kind of amplifies the
tension.
The tension a little bit.
Where was that?
Well, in some movies, it amplifies the tension to keep it to a secluded, small shoot.
Yeah.
Like this.
Whew. Yeah, talk about the bad. I thought some of the acting in this movie was just really bad. Now, I saw the trailer for this, and I was like, man, they're putting a lot in this trailer, and it doesn't look good. And I didn't think it looked good, but again, I'm one of these people that try to go in there objectively, and I don't go in there like, oh, this movie's going to be terrible, and I'm not going to like it.
Oh man, this movie's going to be great!
I was kind of hoping that, because I had lower expectations, that it wasn't going to be complete dog shit. What was really bad in this was the direction, I thought. You expect the clunky dialogue, but like some of the acting was just really bad. We'll get into some more descriptive stuff when we go into the spoilers. I thought there was a lot of forced tension.
They tried to force tension, and it just failed miserably.
I feel like he came up with the idea and was like, well, I got to get them from here to here and here, but how do I do that? Oh, well, let's have this happen, and let's have this happen. And it just, oh my God, it just didn't, it wasn't cohesive.
Exactly. It really stumbled through the story.
These names are so weird in this movie. They're not like Jim or Eric, or, like Tony or...
The mom's name is Priska, but I swear the whole time the guy, the dad,
oh, that's
is
right.
saying Briska.
And then there's mid-sized sedan.
I don't know if that's my favorite or least favorite name in the entire movie.
Go see the movie and come back and watch this part of it. Let's talk about spoilers. They get to the resort, right? Because she filled out something online and...
Yeah, she never click an ad, okay? don't. Even if it's on a trusted site, even if it looks like
Unless it's
trusted
coming
website.
from a Nigerian prince, I don't trust it. But man, oh my god, some of the scenes, like the parents are getting a divorce.
She's got this mysterious medical condition that they barely even bring up.
You know what I thought?
Supposedly getting separated because of it.
Do you know what I thought it was when she said that? Cancer.
Because it's always cancer.
They're in the hotel room fighting. They have like one line to each other back and forth, and I'm like, that's a fight?
It felt like they were pretending to fight for the kids, I guess, to make the separation later easier and more understandable.
I'll tell you this, as a child from a broken marriage, the separation is not easy anyway. The timing between the two actors, and I feel like that happens in his movies, so I don't think it's the actors per se.
No, it felt like they were waiting for a cue, got the cue, then the response was waiting for another cue. M was like, I'm going to tell you when to go. When I tell you, you go. You wait until I tell you to go.
They're all sick.
All of them have some kind of medical
or
condition.
somebody they're with is sick then, you know. The doctor, his mom dies, and then
after he accuses mid-sized sedan of murdering a woman.
Yeah, that they weren't there for, and she just shows up dead, and
he automatically thinks it's him
because he's racist.
That's absolutely what he was.
And then his wife was all vain and
calcium deficient.
The kids who just grow, but no one else gets older.
Well, they try to explain it badly. The worst part of Kim
of the
character,
timeline,
who's apparently a nurse, because of course, he tries to explain that they don't look that much older because they're already a certain mass, and their cells on the inside are getting older, but not on the outside.
But their nails don't grow, and their hair won't grow.
Yeah, because the kids get older into like their 20s at this point, and the mom bringing up the only good point, why aren't their nails getting bigger or their hair getting longer?
He doesn't know, he's just kind of suggesting it. But I really wish that he would have just looked into the camera and just been like, well, we really don't have that money in the budget. They tell me that at work when I want to raise.
Honestly, M. Night told me to come up with something on the spot.
So then Trent, who is Guy and Priska's son, gets Kara, who is the doctor and the vain woman's daughter, pregnant because they're 6. They're not anymore. I guess they're...
Apparently, their brains also aged, and so did their urges.
And then the baby's born, and then it's dead.
It, immediately dies. Baron's wife sets it down for a second, and it dies from lack of attention. Every time they try to leave, they black out. Because, apparently, trying to leave, their cells can't keep up with the decrease of time.
Eventually it comes to the point, Kara falls off the rocks and dies because she blacks out when she gets to the top.
Because you can't go over, you can't go through. Apparently you can't swim out either because you eventually black out.
Forgot to say, the hotel manager has a nephew who hit it off with Trent because they're about the same age, both kind of nerdy, and gives him a code to decipher once, says, ice cream party
ice
tomorrow.
Cream eating contest or something?
Sure, tomorrow.
But it's decoded in these symbols, and he gives him a cipher.
Because he's the fucking Zodiac killer. So then all of a sudden, here comes this letter as Trent's parents are fucking dying, or they're already dead, I don't remember.
Yeah, this was
because he goes blind and she loses her fucking hearing.
When they first got in the van to go to the beach, he found the letter in his bag.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was inside the van.
I didn't see it.
And pulled it out and looked around for Idlib. The doctor guy is off the rails again and starts attacking Guy. I guess because he was going to rat out that he killed Mid-Size Sedan.
Yes, he did.
By the way, he killed Mid-Size Sedan.
So Trent and Maddox, brother and sister, go crawling into a little cave area But they didn't black out?
Well, they didn't go deep enough into the tunnels.
That is what she said.
Path.
So then the woman who's all
So the
vain
vain one has now become not quite.
She's
so
all
good.
drawn up.
She's got a hunched back. She's not from Notre Dame.
She goes after them in the cave.
Trent keeps lighting this match, and she's like, "Put out that light. Don't look at me. I don't want to be seen. Put out the light."
And then she bangs her arm. She was feral, for sure. Then she bangs her arm and breaks it. And
Well,
then
she tried to throw a rocket. She tried hitting them with some rocks.
She's throwing 95-mile-an-hour burners. Brian Cashman, because you're a shit GM, you're not even looking at her. Her arm was all messed up, and because they're aging conveniently.
All their wounds would heal
Like she was Wolverine. And so her arm is like reset, but it's back here, which was kind of okay. And then all of a sudden, she like falls while she's crawling after them, and then her arms get broken again, and then she's like, ah!
She starts wigging out in this tiny little area and just starts hitting all the sides of the rock around her and starts breaking her bones like glass.
I laughed out loud in the movie because it was.
I think everyone did.
It was like the dumbest shit I've ever seen. And come to think of it, did they have to crawl back over her? It's the next day after the parents die.
They're sitting on the beach and they're like, "You want to build a sandcastle?"
They're older now. They're like almost 50. They have time for that bullshit. And he deciphers the code that the nephew of the hotel manager left them. Because
My uncle doesn't like the coral.
At that point, I didn't care. I wish they all died. I went into that movie theater at 12 years old and left at fucking 96. That's what it felt like. And I was only there for 2 hours. So they swim to the coral. Sonic the Hedgehog air bubble their way. M. Night thinks that they're dead.
Because, of course, he gave himself that role.
Goes back to his people, who's the hotel manager.
I watched him for a minute and a half. They're dead.
It's a lab where you find out that they've been bringing these sick people because they all registered at CVS or some shit to go to this place, and so they know their medical history. And they know that everyone's sick, and they know that, hey...
Because they're testing drugs on all these people that are sick to try to heal, like, cancer and...
The woman had...
seizures.
The people obviously make it back, and they blow it up. They're like...
Because the manager's going to greet the next family, and they walk up, and they're like, "I wouldn't accept anything from them." So Trent, when he was still 6... could remember anyone's name and their occupation. And he met this cop on the beach the day before. Well, he goes back to this cop and gives him this book that's apparently got the names and addresses for everyone that's been on this beach. And he's like explaining it to him. And so this guy, who is apparently a super cop, because he calls in like the National Guard,
jurisdiction stretches.
It was a lot of failed build-up for no payoff.
Yeah, there was no payoff.
They get away in the end. They stop the people, save lives.
To hell with that. Do they save lives? Because, I mean, listen, these people are working on these medicines where they're trying to save millions of lives at the expense of a few. If you're asking me, I'm going up to them and I'm like, listen, my family's dead. What can you do for me? How about a few Benjamins? Are you kidding me? I'm still 50 years old. I got time. You know who doesn't have time? My parents, because you killed them. And now I'm traumatized forever.
What was to stop the manager from using security to detain them? They've been having, like, episodes or something. He could have made any kind of excuse. Nobody had to believe these two random strangers that walked up out of nowhere and looked disheveled as crap.
My question is this, too. When did they shit? Did they just go in their pants?
No. See, it aged all the way through that process.
What's your score, Eric?
I was floating a number in my head earlier, and I think I'm gonna flatten it out. It's aged up, it's aged down, whatever. A very flat 3.
Woo!
Why are you looking at me funny? Oh my god!
Because, sweetie, earlier you were like you were a baby, and now you've got tits. That's why. I mean, I'm gonna give this movie a 2.8. It just was not good. I'm sorry, it wasn't good. I mean, it's not Last Airbender bad, but maybe
I thought we said not to be named.
I'm sorry. I'm from Slytherin. I don't play by the rules. I want to know what you thought of this movie, because clearly 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb, 57% on Rotten Tomatoes are fucking wrong. This movie was not good. I want to know why you thought it was good. I want to know what you thought about it. As always, hit that like. Always appreciated. That subscribe. Check you out next time, rounds. Night's Table.